Probably went off when you, yeah. There you go. Oh, great, red.
Testing the mic.
Oh, there it is.
All right. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to those of you who are here. Shabbat Shalom to those of you who are on Zoom. Shabbat Shalom to everyone. Probably didn't take you too long to figure out that I'm not Rabbi John Carrier and not Cantor Ruth Berman Harris, but I am rabbinical student Jill Goldwright. And I'm extremely happy to be here to bring in Shabbat with those of you who are in the Zoom room and those of you who are outside in this lovely final outdoor Shabbat for the season. And as we close up the summer, even though I think the weather report hasn't really gotten the news that this is the end of summer, the calendar says that it is, and so we're going to spend some time just lingering in the reality of being outdoors and in the kind of blending of the fact that it's Shabbat, it is the moment of rest, it is the moment for us to breathe and to stop and to think and to notice and to just center around what we're doing. And so tonight's service is going to be partly very familiar, and it's going to be partly unfamiliar. And I'm going to ask you to be open to learning some new things. I'm going to be ask you to be open to returning to some more traditional melodies, and just to enjoy the fact that you finally, at the end of the week, get to sit and get to breathe and get to just be together. So I'm going to.
Hopefully, when she starts the candle lighting,
the mic.
you move it over, then you change out the battery real quick.
Hmm?
So this one will be the brand new one. When she does the candle lighting, you can change out.
Okay, so there we go with the mic. Is that better?
Yep.
Great. Okay. So while we have the mic, I'm going to teach you a melody for a prayer that we're going to sing later in the service. But I'd like to teach you the melody first as our opening game. And so we're just going to sing it on Lie, Lie, Lie to start. And then as the service builds, I will teach you the prayer that goes with it. But it goes like this. I'm going to sing the first, sing the first line to you, and I'm going to have you repeat it back to me. It goes like this. Lie, lie, lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, lie. Lie, lie, lie. Let's try that together. Lie, lie, lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, lie. Lie, lie, lie. That was beautiful. Then it goes up a little bit. Lie, lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, lie. Lie, lie, lie. were beautiful. So we're going to return to that melody as the evening continues to move on. And my thought about starting off with a melody that may be unfamiliar was that I don't want for this to feel like just another Shabbat service, because Shabbat is the opposite of the mundane. That's exactly what Shabbat is for. It's for us to make a break from what is chol, what is mundane and regular and common, and for there to be a conscientious, intentional break. So if I shake things up a little bit, it's for that, so that we don't feel the commonality, but we feel the newness. We'll sing later in the service about a new song, right? That we sing a new song, Shir Chadash, every week. Why do we do that? Because Shabbat is itself a reminder of the act of creation to begin with, and that there always needs to be something new and something wonderful and something delicious about Shabbat. So that's my hope for tonight, is that we can capture some of that. And while there's still some light in the sky, I'm going to ask you, as much as your neck will allow, for you to just look up. Just look up. Maybe at the treetops, maybe at the day closing out and the night starting to creep in. Maybe at the different shades of blues and pinks and lavenders in the sky where the sun will set. Maybe you notice a little breeze that you didn't even notice before, but now you kind of feel it. Okay, there's not much of a breeze, I admit it, but... And as you're just looking around, I then invite you to look into the faces of the people you came with tonight, or the people who are sitting near you. These are faces that you probably see pretty regularly, to the point where maybe you don't really even see anymore. So this time, instead of glancing to see if they're getting in the car, or glancing to see if the chores are getting done, or glancing to see if they turn the air conditioning on or off, just look and see. If you really look closely, you might even see the angels of Sabbath coming. We sing Shalom Aleichem together, and if you have a Siddur with you, it's on page 13. What is your angel for this Shabbat? Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem Leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei bottom of page 14. Adonai, help us now to make this a new Shabbat. After noise, we seek quiet. After crowds of indifferent strangers, we seek to touch those we love. After concentration on work and responsibility, we seek freedom to meditate, to listen to our inward selves. We open our eyes to the hidden beauties and the infinite possibilities in the world you are creating. We break open the gates of the reservoirs of goodness and kindness in ourselves and in others. We reach toward one holy, perfect moment of Shabbat. We're going to continue on the top of page 16. And this is the psalm that I was referring to a little bit earlier about singing a new song to God. So we'll start with the lie, lie, lies, and then we'll kick in with the Hebrew. Once I realize how it's going to go. Here it goes. Lie, 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 lie. I'm going to invite Michelle and Cassie Browning and Allegra Wright to light the candles for us. Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Kabbalat Shabbat is about transitioning us, like I said, from the mundane to the holy. And that doesn't just happen in a second. It takes some intentionality. It takes some, I'm not going to say work, but it takes some mindfulness. And the mindfulness that we bring to Shabbat is an elevation of our souls. And so we talk about the Shabbat bride as a metaphor. We talk about the Shabbat queen as a metaphor. And those things are metaphors for the elevation of our souls to a higher plane than what we normally experience during the week. Because the weeks are crazy, right? And it would be very easy to continue this running, but only for so long. So the wisdom of taking a moment to elevate our souls is about the idea of thinking of a Sabbath bride or a Sabbath queen, a presence, an elevated presence that we welcome into our evening as a way to reach that elevated soul ourselves. So with that, I invite you to turn to page 21 for Lecha Dodi. We're going to sing a melody that Cantor Ruth brought at the very beginning of her tenure here to PJTC, and we'll do the first and then the very first verse, and then we'll sing the chorus, and then we'll jump to the last page and we'll do the penultimate and then the ultimate verse, and we'll rise when we welcome the Sabbath Queen. So the top of page 21. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, yalalai, 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 ne Shabbat, ne kabbalah. Try that again. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, yalalai, 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 ne Shabbat, Nekabela Shamor Bezachor Bedibur Echad Ishmianu Ameuchad Adonai Echad Ushmo Echad V'Shemu Tiferet Uliti La Ole singing are psalms, parts of Psalms, the book of Tehillim, and the Psalms really cover an entire range of human emotion. Of course, the Psalms that are selected for Kabbalat Shabbat are the Psalms of praise and the Psalms of joy, the Psalms of happiness and the Psalms of gratitude. And interestingly, in the entire book of Psalms, there's only one of them that actually mentions Shabbat. 1 out of 150 Psalms mentions Shabbat. And that's the Psalm that we're going to go to now. It's called the Song or the Psalm of Shabbat. It's Psalm 92. And we'll just do the chorus of this one. We'll use the melody that Cantor Ruth has introduced to our community, but we'll just do the chorus together, and it's on page 23. Is right. It's getting darker, so I need to use a little bit of light. All right, here we go. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Let's do that again. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. There's a story from our tradition that King David was the poet who penned all of the Psalms. And the story is that when he slept, he hung his harp over his bed, and as the breeze flew and floated through the strings of the harp, that was inspired him to write the Psalms. I don't know, I like that one. We're going to continue with our service on page 28. And I'd like to invite Allegra to lead us in the Baruch Hu. Please rise. Baruch Adonai Hamaravim Avim. Please be seated. On the top of page 29 is Ahava Rabbah, which is also a metaphor. It's about the great love that the people of Israel have for God and the great love that God has for the people of Israel. I could expand that metaphor a little bit to the metaphor that the people of Israel have for Shabbat and for the opportunity to sit and reflect and meditate a bit. So if you'll join us on page 29 for Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Amcha Ahavta Torah umitzvot Hukim umishpatim Otanu limadeta Otanu limadeta Al Kain Adonai Eloheinu b'shofenu U'kameinu nasiach v'chukecha V'nisma b'divrei Toratecha U'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Yihem chayenu Ve'orech yameinu Uvahem negei yomam v'layla negei yomam v'layla Ve'ahavatcha al tasir Mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מסבך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לפניך ודיברת בם בשיטתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Continue silently.
Okay, talk to me. I'm right here.
We continue with Vayomer on the top of page 31.
Yeah.
Vayomer Adonai Moshe Lemor Daber El Bnei Yisrael Ve'amart Alehem Ve'asu Lahem
I got it.
Al Kanfei B'dachem Adotam Ve'ashmu
I got a built-in
Al
microphone.
Tzitzit Hakana Ketil Techelet Ve'haya Lachem Letzitzit Oitem Oto Uzkartem Et Kol Mitzvot Adonai Va'asitem Otam Ve'lo Tashuvu Acharei Levavchem Ve'acharei Enechem Asher Atem Zonim Achareihem Leman Tizkeru Va'asitem Et Kol Mitzvotai Ve'hiyatem
Elohim Elohim Ani Adonai Elohim Asher Hotzeti Lecha Me'eretz Mitzrayim Lehiot Lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohim
Adonai Elohim Emet. Boy. The Mi Chamocha prayer reminds us of the Shirat Hayam and the story of Exodus, which we retell not only yearly at Pesach, but weekly, in fact, daily in our prayers. Why such an emphasis on recalling over and over again the story from enslavement to freedom? I dare say it's because we make those journeys every day. We make those journeys every day from enslavement to freedom. And if not every day, then certainly every week with Shabbat. Perhaps we feel enslaved to our schedules, to traffic, to our jobs, to the demands of the house, to obligations that we have to our family members. And remembering the sweetness of freedom is tied directly with remembering the sweetness of Shabbat. So when we sing Mi Chamocha, which is on page 32, let's be joyous about the fact that whatever we were enslaved to this past week, or maybe even just a few hours ago, you can shut off and we can pick up our timbrels and we can sing and we can dance on the shores of liberation, and to really understand what Shabbat means. So what melody are we doing for this, Michelle?
All up to you, Rabbi.
Let's do the, I don't know, let's do the traditional one. Let's do the traditional one. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot, oh sefele, nora tehilot, oh sefele. Let's do that again. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot, oh sefele, nora tehilot, oh sefele. Malchutecha, rauvanecha, ayam lifnei Moshe, zeli, zeli, anu ve'ameru, Adonai imloch, Adonai imloch, leolam va'ed. V'ne'emar kifar Adonai al Yaakov, u'alom ha'ir chazak mimenu, baruch atah Adonai gal Yisrael. Feels a little bit like camp out here doing our service under the stars with mosquitoes buzzing and maybe being a little less formal than we are in the sanctuary. And so I'd like to introduce a camp melody of Hashkivenu, which actually I know Cantor Ruth has introduced to the congregation as well. It starts with the Hashkivenu prayer, part of it in Hebrew, and then continues in English. So I hope that you'll join me and you'll pick it up. It's pretty easy. It goes like this. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, leshalom. Vehamidenu malkeinu lechayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. Let's do the English part again. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 On the top of page 34, we raise our voices with the good old-fashioned traditional Vishamru. Let's join together. Vishamru, Bnei Yisrael, et Shabbat, Asot et Shabbat, ledorotam berit olam. Vishamru, Bnei Yisrael, et Ledorotam berit olam. Bnei Israel, oti leolam, oti leolam, oti leolam. Veshamru Bnei Israel et Shabbat, Asot et Shabbat, ledorotam berit olam. Veshamru Bnei Israel et Shabbat, Asot et Shabbat, ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, asa Adonai, et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Veshamru Bnei Yisrael et Shabbat, Asot et Shabbat, ledorotam berit olam. Veshamru Bnei Yisrael et Shabbat, Asot et Shabbat, ledorotam Lidorotam berit olam. Ubayom hashvi Shabbat ve'inafash. Shabbat ve'inafash. Shabbat ve'inafash. Shamru b'nei Israel et haShabbat. Shabbos aso haShabbat ledorotam berit olam. V'shamru b'nei Israel et haShabbat. Shabbos aso haShabbat ledorotam berit olam. Yitkada ve'yitkada shemei Rabbah ve'amad yivrach chirutei ve'amlich malchutei ve'chayechon u'vyomechon uv'chayei kol beit Yisrael bagala u'bizman kariv yimeru.
Amen.
Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach Le'olam u'mam me'amaya Yitbarach ve'yishtabach V'yitbar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh V'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal Shemei dekudashah Leila min kol bechirata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiram be'alma Ve'yimeru.
Amen.
Some of you may know that I like to read books. And I teach literature. And so I wanted to bring in two offerings, small literary offerings for tonight. Because we started talking about little things to look for. We craned our necks and looked up at the sky, which, by the way, looks a lot different now than it did when we were first craning our necks. We noticed the tops of trees. We noticed the small little details on Shabbat that we just rush past during the week. And the first little offering that I wanted to bring into you is from Walt Whitman. He wrote a pretty famous book called Leaves of Grass. And this selection is from Song of Myself, which is a long poem within Leaves of Grass. And he writes, a child said, "What is the grass?" fetching it to me with full hands. How could I answer the child? I do not know what it is any more than he. I guess it must be the flag of my disposition, out of hopeful green stuff woven. Or I guess it is the handkerchief of the Lord, a scented gift and remembrancer designedly dropped, bearing the owner's name some way in the corners, that we may see and remark and say, whose? Alice Walker wrote a novel called The Color Purple. That title comes from one line in the novel. If you've read the novel, you know it's not about the color purple. It's about a whole bunch of things, but it's not about that. So why that title? It comes from one remark in the novel. And that line says, I think it pisses God off when you walk by the color purple in a field and don't notice it. So we're going to rise in a moment for the Amidah. And I'm just going to ask you to notice the colors, the feelings, the thoughts, the dreams, the prayers, the hopes and wishes, all that you bring within you. And as you follow along, either in the Siddur, or if you close your eyes even a little tighter, you might see some of those colors. And focus on them and notice them so that you can stop and say, whose? We rise for the Amidah. Allegra is passing out a little reminder for you. And it's dark, so you may not be able to tell, but it's purple. Those are the words to the nigun that I taught you at the beginning of the service. So what I'd love to do is sing this together. And then I'd love for you to keep this little reminder. Keep it in your Siddur, or keep it in your wallet, or keep it in your phone case, or just keep it in a little place where as you're going along your way, that you run into it every once in a while. And it'll remind you to just stop and breathe and notice. Let's sing it together. I'll remind you of the melody. Ozi vezimrat ya va'ili lishua. Let's do that again. Ozi vezimrat ya va'ili lishua. Ozi וזמרת ויהי לי ישועה עוזי וזמרת ויהי לי לישועה עוזי וזמרת ויהי לי לישועה עוזי וזמרת ויהי לי לישועה. Let's go by one more time. עוזי וזמרת ויהי לי לישועה עוזי וזמרת ויהי לי לישועה. We continue on page 48 with Kaddish Shalem. By the way, Kaddish Shalem is just different from the rest of the Kaddishes that we do during the service and during the week, because it has an extra section. And Shalem in this case means full or whole. It's got the same shoresh or the same root as shalom. So when you wish somebody Shabbat Shalom, you're wishing somebody a peaceful Shabbat, but you're also wishing them a Shabbat of wholeness, of completeness, of completion. So what I'd like to do actually is just focus on the extra section, just so you know what that kind of section says. And so you'll know what you're praying when you're davening Kaddish Shalem. If you have the prayer book in front of you, it's the one small line to third paragraph that starts with the word Tit Kabal. Tit Kabal slow tone. And if you look over to the translation, what it does is it's asking for the for abundant peace, right? Abundant peace from heaven. And the paragraph before says, may the prayers and pleas of all the people Israel be accepted by our guardian in heaven, and let us say amen. Let there be abundant peace from heaven with life's goodness for us and for all Israel, and let us say amen. It is shalom, it is shalem, and that is the one distinctive factor in this lovely section. And also, this is what kind of marks the beginning of the end of the service. So now we head into the concluding prayers. And we're going to head into Aleinu. I want to just teach you a little something about the word Aleinu too. Aleinu is actually a preposition with a direct object at the end. For you grammar nerds out there, it means upon us. It is upon us. That's what Aleinu means. What is upon us? What does that mean? I thought we were supposed to take a break from obligations on Shabbat. How suddenly do we have something upon us? Well, what we have upon us is the fact that we've experienced what we've experienced together tonight, that we've deepened a little bit, that we've connected a little bit, that we've noticed and stopped and observed and rested and breathed. But none of that matters if you don't take it out into the world. And none of it matters if you don't let it change you. If you're going to go all the way back to what you would normally do, then it's not for anything, right? all of this elevation, all of this meditation, all of this thinking and this singing and this connecting is for you to go and change the world. Small ways, big ways, it doesn't matter, but it's for you to change the world. It is upon us. Please rise for Elena. Which is on page 51.
Aleni l'shabeach l'adon hako, l'ateit gedula l'yotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kuye haratzot, velo samanu kimishpot adama, shelo sankel keim vegor aleinu v'hol hamona, v'nachnu korim, U'nishtatim u'motim, Livnei melech, Malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hakatu b'toratecha, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar v'hayel Adonai v'melech al kol haaretz. Vayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad. U'shemo echad.
Please be seated. It is very Jewish to encapsulate in times of great joy a moment of remembrance of our sadness, and in times of great sadness, moments of the joys of life. This is why even when we have a wedding, we break a glass. This is why even when we have Shabbat, we take a moment to remember those we loved and lost. And this is also why, as we remember those we loved and lost, we then have a little sweetness in our mouths to remind us of the joys of life. For this Shabbat, our community remembers Ruth Bernath, grandmother of Brett Bernath and mother of Michael Bernath, Frances Breyer, Tema Davidson, Elaine Dixon, Margaret Dominguez, Jean L. Eisenberg, Swan Fung, Ilona Fuchs, Evelyn Gold, who was my grandma, Adeline Gold, Jules Goldman, Albert Groman, Anne Hecht, Esther Hershkovitz, Marvin Holtzman, Isaac Karsh, Jetta Kliegfeld, Cecilia Nell, Abraham Kokis, Harry Kurtz, Daniel Lyon, Tilly Mans, David Minovitz, Morton Mintz, Samuel Allen Rickman, Joel Ruffman, Richard Ryder, Howard Schaefer, Aaron David Schwartz, Raymond Siegel, Joshua Silver, Jenny Taylor, Pauline B. Weinberger, Rosa Weinstock, and Bernard Weisfeld. We also add to that list the memory of Pearl, who was just buried this last week. Pearl was the mom of Michelle Leonard, Tracy Sherman, and the grandmother of Ruby Sherman, members of our congregation. If there are any other names that anybody would like to speak out loud, I invite you to do so now. And if not, I invite you to hold in your hearts the names of all those you remember on this Shabbat and every day. If it is your custom to rise, if you are either in mourning or to support those who are in mourning, I invite you to do so now. And the Mourner's Kaddish is on page 52. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ve'alma divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'zman kari v'yimru, amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevarach le'alam wamei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, V'yit hadar, v'yit hilay, v'yit halal, shemei dekudasha b'richu. Leila min kol, birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechamata, dami ram be'alma, v'yimru, amen, yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru, amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, V'yimru, amen. May the memories of our loved ones be for us, for our community, and for our world a blessing. We're going to conclude our service with singing a new old song. This one definitely reminds me of camp. And not when I was a camp counselor, but when I was a little kid at a little camp. Maybe it'll remind you of that too. It goes like this. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Let's do it again. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, la di da di da di bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shalom, Shabbos. All right, we're going to go to the Kiddush, and Michelle, do you want to do this? No? Okay, let's all do it together.
Let's all do it together.
Let's all do it together.
Let's all do it together. We're all
I invite you, if you're on Zoom, to grab a Kiddush cup, maybe some grape juice or a little bit of wine or a little something that you'd like to toast. Sorry, I thought you wanted to do this. But I have to find it. Huh? I don't need it. I'm not going to do it.
Oh my gosh.
Where is it?
Do you want to go over here?
Yeah.
Okay, do you want the mic? I'll hold the mic for you. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, we're gonna figure this out. Here we go. On the fly. That's how we get it done.
All right, please join me together in the Kiddush. If you're looking at the Siddur, it's in the middle of page 312. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'rata banu v'shabbat kodsho ve'ava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lemaaseh bereishit ki hu yom tehillah lemikvah kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim kivanu b'charta ve'otanu kidashta Mikomi Beshabbat Koshecha Eava Ubratzon Kinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat Chaim. All right. I will wash hands for everyone on Zoom and in the room who's not washing hands. Just put your hands up and we can metaphorically all do it together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim. Amen.
Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz shabbat shalom.
Good Shabbos, everybody.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you.
Welcome. There's pieces there. That's all right. We can do this.
Okay, we got this.
Pleasure.